Hello, Loveys. Happy Friday, March 7th, 2025. And some say the bigger the hair, the smaller the hips. And I say the bigger the hair, the closer to God. And we need the Lord after this week. Is it just me, babes? Or does it feel like we have been Monday through Friday has felt to me like 7 dog years. Keno has aged. Okay. I don't know about you. Let's put a couple years on my life. And then I look back behind me at this tiny, angry judge who we refer to as Polly Pocket Bev. And I think to myself, do you really want to fight me? Do you want to catch these hands? Okay. We're going to have to boink a Bev. And maybe not in that way. Okay, let's see what everyone's doing. Hi, Maddie Wags. Oh, Billy Watson says it's been a long week. Sure has. I can relate. Oh, we do need the Lord. We always need the Lord. We'll say a prayer, a couple of Hail Marys, and we threw a couple out this week. And some of them landed, others did not. Oh, Bev's sidebar, Jen K says, hello, all. We need some love. We sure do. We sure do. And I provide it, right? If nothing else, I can provide the comfort of a microphone and a broad that you've come to know. Some of you enjoy, some of you probably don't. But I am here and we will get through this together. I wanted to start off with good news. Why? Because that's how I've learned to deal with life. Just in general, try to bring up the good stuff, and then we can deal with the shit stains that are the Commonwealth of Massachusetts in the form of our tiny Polly Pocket judge, this little squirrely weasel, Hank Brennan, and just overall Mass State Police and Norfolk DA's office. Ooh. Thank you, Bethany. What are we doing? Pretty hair. It's crazy. I tried to make it work, and sometimes you swing and sometimes you miss. You know what I'm saying? This was a miss. Here it is. Maisie Daisy. We need any scrap of good news. Well, let's get to good news and then, babe. So last time we talked, where were we? Delusional. We were on another planet, definitely spinning out on the rings of Saturn. And we ended on the motion to dismiss hearing from the 5th. And it was Hank Brennan. It was after 12:30. We were all delusional and had work. And I said, I'm going to finish this up. Now, the place that I stopped at 1 hour and 44 minutes out of 2 hours and 9 minutes from the afternoon is a great place to just pick up the last end of this hearing. And I have a document that was found in public records that is going to make a lot of sense after we watch this together. So let's listen to Hank, try to teleport, look at my hair, check out, Judge Polly Pocket behind us, and, just find a goat on the side of the road, potentially a deer, and we'll think about doing yoga together, okay? So just bear with me and we'll get through this together.
Cases, and I think most of the lawyers in here have. It is without a doubt in Massachusetts that these dutiful men and women of the trial court protect and are sworn at the end of every case in jury instructions to protect the jury. And these trial court employees, especially here in Dedham, some of the finest, would never abscond that duty. And yet it is now in the public domain, this suggestion. The only way that you dispel innuendo, suggestiveness, unsupported claims, and the poison that can seep into the community, the only way you can stop that is with fact. So
Oh.
I'm going to list a few facts for the record. Fact, Lieutenant Fanning was not in charge of juror security. Fact, Lieutenant Fanning did not have control of the jury. Fact, Lieutenant Fanning did not access the jury. Fact, Lieutenant Fanning was part of a multi-agency cooperative effort to ensure the safety of the public and court participants, which required numerous local police officers and state police because of the bedlam that was created outside. Fact, Lieutenant Fanning never, ever, ever met with or interacted with any juror. Fact, at all times, Lieutenant Fanning worked from a remote location, jointly managing operations for the safety of the public. Never setting foot on this property when the jury was here. Never meeting a juror, never looking at a juror, never being seen by a juror. Fact, no evidence any trial court personnel ever ceded their obligations and duty and handed them off to Lieutenant Fanning. Fact, Lieutenant Fanning heard numerous rumors from various sources about a potential juror who expressed potential bias. Fact, Trooper Fanning never investigated, approached, or inquired. He heard the information and provided it to the trial court as is responsible, dutiful, and proper. And I'll repeat one more time, Lieutenant Fanning never, ever, ever interacted, controlled, or met with any juror.
Fact, Trooper Fanning had an undisclosed relationship with Colleen Crawford, the digital forensic personnel of Norfolk DA's office. I know that she's worked with them for a long time, but isn't this interesting? Was his relationship disclosed with Colleen and their business for forensic data analysis, and other, I don't know, whatever business. Can't read that. But John Fanning and Colleen Crawford started a business in 2019. Huh. And when did their business end? In February of 2022. Oh. And now we go back and we think to ourselves, okay, Fanning had a relationship and a personal business, not just a professional relationship, but with someone who was handling the Sallyport Canton Police Department video in the Commonwealth V Karen Read case. The same Trooper Fanning who was involved in Sandra Birchmore's death in Canton, Massachusetts, at the hands, allegedly, of a Stoughton police officer who groomed her since she was 15 years old and was pregnant with his child, but took his word at face value like the stand-up individual he is. Because Trooper Fanning is who we all should aspire to be. Unimpeachable. Right, Hank? Oh. That's interesting. And when we look also at the Commonwealth v. Karen Read case, we have issues with what? Evidence. We have text messages that are awry from Trooper Proctor to Trooper DeChico to Fanning being on vacation and not being found guilty by the Mass State Police during his internal affairs investigation. Because he was away and the little mice liked to play. So not even a slap on that wrist. But wow, when you think about text messages that were known in the Sandra Birchmore case and that were seen and brought to light, and no one did anything with it. And then we have the inexplicable issues with Trooper Proctor at the Canton Police Department, Sallyport, him pulling out all of this digital information within the first month of Officer John O'Keefe's death. All by February 28th, there had been 6-hour blocks that were removed from the DVR or the, I don't even know what the Christ it's called, but DGM Pietro, he was pulling all the tape. And we know that all the forensic people, whether that be Guarino, Fanning, Crawford, they all know each other, and they all stood behind, in my opinion, a thin blue line. In the case of Sandra Birchmore, they protected their brother in blue, Matthew Farwell, Robert Devine, his boss, and Matthew's brother. And in Commonwealth V Karen Read, we lost a brother in blue, but sure as shit, no one else was going to pay but Karen Read. The connections and the thoughts of impropriety, that there is even an appearance, should have been enough for Trooper Fanning to be nowhere near Norfolk Superior Court at any time. But he heard multiple rumors about an alleged juror in the community, and allegedly someone knew what a juror looked like and told Fanning. And Fanning gets off with nothing, no problems for him in his career. Yet, we know that his former business partner, Colleen Crawford, was used in Commonwealth v. Karen Read for 2.0 to manage extractions of forensic data. I smell bullshit. We have a problem here, guys, and the connections are concerning. They always have been. But now we have actual evidence, proof, receipts, proof, timeline, pearls to clutch. We've got it all. You're all a bunch of tricky pricks, and we're coming for you. Okay, continue, you shitbag.
Your Honor, these claims in the motion to dismiss have a theme. Different issues, same thing, same pattern, same effort. Your Honor should dismiss it outright, and we should move to trial. Thank you.
If I may, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, you may. Rock'em sock'em robots, AJ. Hit him, our little bearded dragon.
We're going to address in reverse order some of the statements made by Mr. Brennan. And I want to talk first about this issue of juror interference, which is what we called it. So words matter. We've claimed that there's interference. He indicates that that would be an abhorrent transgression if there were interference with a juror or a jury. We agree. It would be an abhorrent transgression. The information that we have in front of us is not the information that Mr. Brennan just recited, which is interesting. I'll get to the facts
Oh,
that he very dramatically stated in just a second, because this is a fact-based inquiry.
yes, it
He
is.
asked for, standing right over there at Sallyport, and didn't get. But Mr. Brennan, with no support to back it up, and I'm going to ask a couple of pointed questions about that, recites these facts after facts after facts that he claimed absolved the Commonwealth of any transgression as it pertains to the jurors. And when I say Commonwealth, I'm talking about the Massachusetts State Police. Very clearly, in a clever, almost too cute by half argument, Mr. Brennan talks about the good court officers populating this courtroom and this courthouse, about whom we have made no allegation, no claim, nothing.
I do want to say, babes, like just from my experience when I was in court, they were lovely. They made me nervous, right? Just because I was like, don't do anything wrong, don't misstep, don't make faces, etc. But they were lovely. And there's a lady, a brunette woman, and she was cool. I think she's free Karen Read. We did a little winksy. You know what I'm saying? We were like, I was like, hey girl. She was like, hey girl. We would have talked in a bathroom at a bar. You know what I mean?
We have nothing but the highest respect and regard for the men and women who wear that uniform and perform these duties. None, zero. And he knows that. But in an effort to create an enemy where there isn't one, he acts like we've insulted the court officers.
And ain't that some shit? Hearing AJ just pull that off the top of his head to create an enemy where there isn't one. Poetry in motion. And I want to let you know that AJ in my book is always 10 out of 10. I'm obsessed. I think he is a literal, just, I don't know. I believe that his practice that he has done for the last 30 years, and yes, every defense attorney is going to defend people that we might say, ooh, you know, but that's your constitutional right. That's your right as an American. And he has provided vigorous defenses for others, but not in the way in which he has shown up for Karen. And he has never said it with a Spacey situation or with Weinstein. There was never him on record saying they are factually innocent and doing the work and providing the amount of time that he has in this case, because he knows that Karen is up against the behemoth. It is the David and Goliath story with Karen Read versus this Commonwealth. And he is willing to fight till the very end. Just like we are, babes. We will fight till the wheels fall off.
Which we haven't. He also said that Lieutenant Fanning stood up here and gave basically a CV, a resume for him. And said, greatest guy on the face of the earth. I don't know Lieutenant Fanning. I don't know if he knows Lieutenant Fanning. That's really the point.
Shade.
It's a personality contest. He said that we identified somebody with an unassailable reputation. We identified him. We didn't identify anybody. We were standing up at sidebar, fat, dumb, and happy, not knowing what was going to happen when somebody else identified him. Wasn't us.
P.S. I feel fat, not happy, okay? Just eating my feelings this week. Why? My emotions. Everything is through the roof. I'm highly charged.
And by the way, everything that we filed concerning this was under seal. We didn't disclose anything in any court document. It wasn't a public document. It was under seal. Mr. Brennan then states that he was also a subject, this person with this unassailed career, was the subject of an IA investigation for his conduct on this case. It's not even about something tangential. It's about his conduct on this case, his supervisory role as it pertains to Michael Proctor and his, and I'll repeat it, disgusting conduct as it relates to my client and his text messages, etc. When he was asked about those text messages, his claim was, I was on vacation and I didn't read them. And ultimately, the Massachusetts State Police investigation cleared the Massachusetts State Police officer. We've seen that happen before.
We sure have, babe. Oh, Mr. Jackson, I apologize. Sorry.
The question, or questions,
I like that he went
surround
back
this
for the
inquiry.
paper.
The reason we included it in our motion to dismiss is because it appears
Mm.
that Ms. Read did not get a fair trial because of this juror's dismissal.
Yes.
How would the person who's unidentified, to this day, unidentified, how would this person know who the juror sitting in one of these seats was?
Oh, now riddle me that. Riddle us that, babes. How, if the facts that Hank Brennan kept alluding to multiple times in his impassioned speech, if the fact was that he was never in a room with the jurors, then why in the world, or how in the world, rather, would a tip or multiple tips go to him about a juror? Tell me more, AJ.
If she was at a private location, I won't mention the location. How would they know?
Hmm?
How would they know to identify her?
Hmm?
How would they know what she said? How would they know to record her illegally, potentially, if that happened? How would they know these things? How would they know that if she was a juror, that she was a juror on the Commonwealth versus Read matter specifically? And how would this unidentified person know of all of the authority figures to go to Lieutenant Fanning of all,
Mm.
who was then described to us after the fact as the, quote, commander of the extensive security operations that this case has required. And I went through that with the court this morning, but I just want to reiterate it one more time. Of course, it makes perfect sense that we would presume that if he's the commander, I don't think it gets much bigger than commander. If he's the commander of all security operations, he's a commander over operations that's in it to the courts, the actual courts.
Hi,
security,
Jim.
the personnel security, the party's security to whatever degree that is necessitated, but maybe most importantly, the jurors' security. That is a reasonable next step to conclude, a reasonable inference from the facts that we were given. But we do know this. He was this same Fanning that was just randomly picked to go report this to, was also the person that was in Ms. Read's house seizing her phone just months before the trial. He's also the person that was interviewing witnesses or supervising the interviews of witnesses in this trial. He was also the person that was on the text messages between Proctor and his buddies at MSP talking about her and trying to find nudes. We know all of that existed. And yet we were denied an opportunity, Your Honor, an important opportunity to simply inquire before this juror was dismissed. That's all we asked.
And why is that? I want everybody to take a moment and think back on any other case you have ever seen. Now, if you go back to Murdaugh, Alex Murdaugh trial down in South Carolina, they had a juror situation, but we knew who they were related to. There was multiple reports of what was going on, and there was a hearing that Judge Newman provided. And there is so much that is left to the imagination for me personally to think, how is it possible that Lieutenant Fanning reports this juror as and somebody potentially wiretapped them when we're a two-party consent rather. So how did this occur that it was just brought to the court? There's a sidebar and Judge Cannone dismisses the juror. Based on innuendo? When the juror denies it? This poor juror, I mean, and I don't know who it is. Again, I wasn't there, so I couldn't show you or name the juror or even have an idea what they look like. But this person denied that there was a problem or that they had done what they were accused of. And there was no evidentiary hearing or anything that was done by Judge Cannone rather than the remedy of dismissal. That does not appear to be how it usually works, not just in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, but in the United States of America. that is grounds for appeal. She did not receive a fair trial. One juror who, we might say could be on the Free Karen Read side, was she a not guilty vote? We don't know. I don't know. If she was the one who got dismissed, I don't think that that's the one that talked to Christina Rex or talked to Turtle Boy. So there is so much there. And the fact that such a large decision to remove someone from the jury was made in just one sidebar conversation without Judge Cannone even questioning Lieutenant Fanning. They got all this information from McLaughlin. Wow.
Let's get Lieutenant Fanning in here. Let's find out what the source of this is. And let's figure out, is it even remotely true? Remember, the juror never said it was true. But lo and behold, minutes before I stood up to give my summation, that juror is removed. That's the problem.
Yes.
This isn't about court officers and besmirching court officers' reputations. That's not what this is about. This is about what happened at sidebar in the matter of minutes that denied Ms. Read her constitutional right. There's a couple of other points that I just want to make. Mr. Brennan started his comments by talking about the Sallyport video and how unimportant it is. How unimportant that video is. I'm not going to go through all my points again. The court doesn't need to do that. But I do want to make this point. He says it's not important. There was nothing to see here. We don't pull videos normally. Yeah, of course you don't pull Sallyport videos if you're investigating a bar fight. This was the purported murder weapon.
Ooh.
This truck is the thing that the Commonwealth suggests was used to kill a cop. You think the video of it being pulled into the Sallyport might be of some evidentiary value? I don't know. Can't imagine why that would be important. Can't imagine why that might have some evidentiary materiality. Oh, but I do know this. I do know this much. There's one guy who thought it was important. The lead investigator. He pulled it all. All of it. He was super, super convinced it was important. And he's the guy that once pulled it, hid it from us for nearly 3 years.
This argument, guys, it should go down in law school. Like, this needs to be referred to for either client advocacy, or I think just oral argument. This is probably one of the best oral arguments I have ever heard, and I have watched hundreds of trials. I know that I'm specifically invested in this case more so than the only other one I could think of that really affected me and I felt very close to was the Harmony Montgomery case in New Hampshire. But this is a masterclass. And Judge Cannone knows that she is outplayed.
Mr. Brennan spent some time talking about the difference between cracked and missing. Interesting point. Now, I'm not going to go through a bunch of videos and audios. The court has seen all the pictures and photographs that it needs to see, and the court has very, very good memory. We've never, ever disputed that the light was cracked. 5:07 or so a.m.
Duh.
That's how it got cracked, is the point. It got cracked on that traverse. And a piece was missing. A piece was missing. Not according to me. According to another agency's sergeant, Barros, who said a piece was missing, but it wasn't completely damaged. Recall that when that light was completely reconstructed with the 46, 47 pieces that were purportedly found, well, they were found at or near 34 Fairview, and then they were reconstructed. Does the court recall what that reconstruction looked like? That taillight was put together almost in its entirety, almost, except a piece was still missing.
Oh, get chills. Did you get chills? I know you've listened to this already, but did you get chills? Remember, babes, when every single Mass State Police and Canton Police Department had picked up their 45 to 47 pieces of taillight over 3 weeks found on the lawn of 34 Fairview. Even though they all found their own quadrants, which is, I mean, wow. You want to talk about luck of the draw. You all should go play Megabucks, okay? And they all found their own quadrants, But you remember that there was that one piece in the middle that was never found.
There was a piece unaccounted for. There's a big difference between a crack and the condition of that taillight, which we've now seen, where literally the entire lens material is basically gone. There's a few shards left on some edges, but the entire lens is basically gone. So yeah, it's relevant. And it's exculpatory. The condition of that light when it pulled into the Sallyport driveway. And with regard to the inverted video, again, Mr. Brennan says there's nothing to see here. We've got inverted videos dating back days earlier. Then why, if that's such common knowledge, then why did Mr. Lally and Sergeant Buchanan, in front of a jury, present that video as a true and correct presentation of what that car looked like and where that car was? Mr. Lally actually asked the question. I don't have a page in sight now. I remember it because I was sitting there. He asked the question, did you see Mr. Proctor, something, I'm paraphrasing, something along the lines of, did either you or Trooper Proctor approach that right passenger taillight? And the answer was no.
Never.
Because on the video that was being played, it looked like the right passenger taillight was the one closest to the jury. And of course, Trooper Proctor walked right around that and went over to the other taillight. Except when you reverse it, you realize that's the right taillight.
Is there a copy of the reverse, the one that you played? Is that in the exhibits for today's motion?
No.
It was added into supplement. Okay. When the defense added their supplemental memorandum today for the motion to dismiss, there are several attachments, guys, and it's going to have video. It has photos. There's so many additional things that were added today. Incredible. Very good for the defense. But I am brought back to the moment. And if any of you are as deep into this as I am, you will remember it too. Kevin Linehan from the Yellow Cottage. I remember when the car, the SUV is pulled in to Canton Police Department, Sallyport. And he says on the mic, I can see the broken tail light now. Okay. I lost it. And I'm looking at it and I'm saying, shit, I don't know. Like, the lights were, it looked dark red to me, but it didn't look broken. He was looking at the driver's side. And that is why, my friends, the Commonwealth thought that they were going to get away with the all-time greatest lie that ever was. This is the big lie in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And Karen Reads are going to be freed because of showing all the corruption and every single thing that had to align for her to expose what has been going on for years and decades.
The one that's been corrected?
Yes. I'd like a copy of
I
that.
don't think I have. Sure. We can get that to the court immediately. Also, he played a video of the grainy video showing, hey, look, some of these cameras are just grainy in other particulars as well, at other times and places. Maybe, or maybe not. What's interesting is the grainy video that we saw, if my memory serves me, and it's my memory, and it's being taxed at this point, but my memory is the chyron on that video, in other words, the running numbers, was at the bottom.
Yes.
That video he just played is at the top. That's the exact same video. It's apples and apples, oranges and oranges.
So wouldn't that be the definition of tampering? It would be tampered with if something in its typical form, as AJ says, apples to apples, oranges to oranges, if it was at the top in the video that they present as, look it, nothing to see here. But of course, Hank doesn't do his summer reading. He tries to Cliff Notes this bitch. Well, you can't, babe. Probably should have done a little compare and contrasto before you presented it to the court.
Why is that different? That's interesting. And with regard to Ms. Reed's actual statements in that interview that was played, or I'm sorry, it wasn't played, it was recited. She said, some of the red plastic is missing. Some of the red plastic is missing. In other words, a piece is missing. It's completely consistent with the condition of that taillight before it was at the Sallyport. With regard to the facts that were recited by Mr. Brennan at the very end, every one of those is unsubstantiated. How does he know all that information? Who has he been talking to?
Yeah.
And why don't we know about it?
Oh,
If in furtherance of this motion, there was an interview done of Lieutenant Fanning that laid out all of this information about not having contact with jurors and not doing this and not doing that, but yes, doing this and that and the other thing, why is the first time I'm hearing about this when he stands up and tells us? That has been the pattern of this Commonwealth's presentation to this court and in front of the jury consistently. That is the punctuation mark at the end of the sentence. Why am I just now getting that? Why wasn't that appended to his motion?
yes.
Was there a conversation Mr. Brennan had with Lieutenant Fanning that we need to know about?
Tell us, King.
This is exactly why, Your Honor, exactly why. If this court is not inclined to dismiss this case, and it should, the maladies of the Brady concerning the Brady violations and the discovery violations are so manifold in this case. They cannot, it's irremediable harm. Irremediable harm. This case should be dismissed.
Irremediable harm, right? That means unable to be remedied. There is no way to fix what has been done. The Pandora's box has been opened, and the only way in which for Karen to be cured in this is dismissal of charges.
Because of the conduct of the Commonwealth, including Michael Proctor holding onto his videos, hiding those videos, and then others involved with strategizing.
Do you see Nathan in the back? Nathan was nodding his head. Nathan said, I agree, AJ. Thank you for coming to work today and showing the fuck up.
Use the videos against us, against the defense, in a murder trial without our knowledge and without giving us the videos. But if the court, in the face of all this, determines that it's either unconvinced at this juncture to dismiss this case, then we urge the court to have an evidentiary hearing. That's what this demands at the very least, an evidentiary hearing so that the court can perfect the record. We shouldn't be guessing at things.
And we demand that. Babes, I tell you this to tell you this. We are here today. I want Piney to know. Previously, she mentioned Piney Woods Law and Crime. Thank you so much, Lovey. I really appreciate you. Says Polly Pocket's cheese just slid all the way off her cracker today. My cardiologist increased the dose of my meds to keep my heart rate down. I'm outraged. Well, listen, you're a handy dandy internet nurse, okay, who loves you all, loves all of your faces. I love your hearts more. And I want you to take care of your hearts. I want you to take care of all of your internal organs, including what? Our brains. Our anxiety that gets, just tested all the time. Your hearts, your heart rates, your blood pressures. I am here, babes. We will do goat yoga at another time. We're going to have to do breathing exercises after each and every one of our streams because your health matters and you matter. And I know that we care so deeply about not only Karen, but we care about Officer John O'Keefe's life. We care about making the Commonwealth a better place for our daughters and future generations. This is why this strikes us so deeply. Because injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And what we have seen occur in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts has been egregious. It has been cruel and unusual punishment and torture for Karen Read, for her family, for the O'Keefe family to have to suffer through all of this. And at the end of the day, the life was lost of Officer John O'Keefe, who deserved to be here still. And so that's why we fight. That's why we will not stop fighting. But we will show up for each other and we will make sure that we check in on each of us as well. So Piney, I want you to be good. I want you to take your medication, your either what's probably metoprolol or whatever you're on. I want you to take it as ordered. And if you feel you're getting verklempt, if you're feeling you are getting a little bit flushed, babe, I want you to take a minute, put it on pause, and come on back. All right? And I don't want to stress you out. I want to be here to be positive and to, keep the fight going, but I don't want to work you guys up because I care about your health and wellness. Okay? Just saying.
Also,
Any follow-up, Mr. Brennan?
No, thank you.
Ms. Giannetti, do you want to say something?
I don't think I need to in light of that
Oh.
presentation, Your Honor.
All right. I know you want to do your motion, Mr. Alessi. I cannot imagine that you can summarize it all in 10 minutes, can you?
I cannot, Your Honor.
Okay. So
Also, how rude, Beverly, Polly Pocket Bev. You know what? I'm going to call something right now. That was out of bounds. Okay. That's a flag on the field. How dare you speak to our king, Robert Alessi, Attorney Alessi, who gives oral arguments and teaches classes. He's teaching law on the reg, babe. Okay, he's a busy man. But to say, oh, you can't do this in 10 minutes? What? Was that a dig? Are you burning our boy? Beverly.
So I'm not going to have anybody back here this week or next week. We'll hear that on the 18th when we hear everything else. I urge you, Mr. Alessi, to condense it as much as possible, okay?
I
I
will,
mean, your pleadings are very thorough.
I will do so, Your Honor.
Okay. Not yet. So
And also, we'll take your backhanded compliment, but I'll give you one too. Okay. Here it is, Bev. I gave you 5 foot tall. That's what I said. That's what I said to the World Wide Web. And I gave that to you because I have a belief in the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit gave you an inch because you might be, ma'am, 4'11".
I gave the parties until, instead of Friday for all the motions eliminated, next Monday is fine. But by the following Friday, I want any responses, oppositions, any responses to the other side's motions. And then we'll have a hearing on the 18th. Jim, did we put aside any other days as well?
We did, I thought.
Oh, she still sighs. She sighs when she talks to Jim. Oh, P.S. Jim is a tall drink of
Yeah,
water.
we did 18 and 19.
That's what I heard, yeah.
Now, wait, I just want, we don't care about, we know scheduling is coming, but we got to hear our, the man, the myth, the legend, David Yannetti, who I look at like a bowl of spaghetti.
At the clerk's office, I would like permission from parties to be able to make a copy of the hard drive, or if I can get the hard drive.
Oh, make your copy of a hard drive, you hard ass. I do want to talk. Let me talk one bit of shit right now. Hold on. Guys, do you see this? Do you see where my clicker is right here? Or my mouse? It's not a clicker. Okay. It is my mouse. You know who this is? Why is Krowski Sr. sitting there in the juror box? And he was there on Tuesday, too. There's 2 other people with him today. Is this the pencil skirt paralegal? Is this who Hank makes the eyes at? I don't know. She was sitting next to me on Tuesday, vigorously writing in her legal pad. That's her bleached hair. Just saying, we're seeing it from the back. There's a little bit left to be desired there. But why is Krowski Sr., who is not involved in this case, why does he have box seats?
Wait, in 3 minutes, and if
Go ahead.
you can cut me off.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Just briefly, Judge. Yesterday, Mr. Brennan represented to this court that I had made an extrajudicial statement regarding Mr. Morrissey and the federal investigation. You'll recall that I stood up in rebuttal and said that it was in court advocating for my client, said Court TV is not a courtroom.
So before you go further,
Yes.
I don't know if Mr. Brennan was going to give me a Court TV site on that. Is
Right.
there one, Mr. Brennan?
I'll have to provide a video. I think that Mr. Yannetti is referring to that comment that was a court comment. And so I intend on remedying that record.
Shut the fuck up again. Oops, I'm sorry, it's happening. Oops, I'm sorry. I apologize, but I'm going to need him to also, he's got to do it again. I made him do it the other night, but he's going to have to shut the fuck up all the way to the tippy top of shut the fuck up mountain and stop it. This is insulting. The court just asked you. Judge Cannone had to actually, out of her mouth, ask Hank Brennan, hey, remember when you said this statement of fact, another misrepresentation of material fact to the court, when you were asking for the privileges and a gag order to be placed on the defense team, which spoiler alert, guys, it happened today. It happened. Judge Cannone ruled and denied the sanctions that were requested by the Commonwealth, but she put a gag order on the attorneys. And we found out on Wednesday that Court TV just played a Zoom hearing rather, in court. And that's what Hank Brennan was referring to. This is so out of bounds. This is so out of hand, in my opinion, that there are no words. And you have the balls, sir, to stand up and say, well, yeah, I intend on remedying that. When did you know that you were wrong? And why was that not filed before this fucking hearing? Shame on you, Attorney Brennan.
There's also a conversation after with court TV.
All right, so provide it to Mr. Yannetti. Mr. Yannetti, I'll give you an opportunity to respond once you get that. But go ahead, you can tell me
Well,
what you want
it's
to tell
just
me
that
now.
right now it's out in the court of public opinion that I
Yeah,
made
it
this
is.
extrajudicial statement. I said specifically I did not. He contradicted me, and that's where we left it. And he said that he would produce the receipts. Now he's admitted.
I'm sorry. Did David Yannetti just say he said he'd produce the receipts? Oh, and he can't. Okay. Hank Brennan, it seems to me like your ass is trying to cash or it's trying to cash checks that it can't. You know what I'm saying? Okay. You are cruising for a bruising. Legally speaking, of course. But if you mess with the bull, you'll get the horns. And David Yannetti is not the one. Look at that man. Look at that face. No dimps right now. Dimping ain't easy. But David Yannetti makes it look that way.
He does not have the receipts. There was no court TV interview where I said anything of the sort. That was a Zoom hearing, excuse me, where I was arguing before Your Honor. I would just note, Your Honor, I don't think it makes sense that Mr. Brennan would have done this on purpose because it was so easily disprovable.
Oh, and I love that about you. And I love this, Mr. Yannetti. I like you having 2 pieces of humble pie in 2 days, okay? You ate it, and I'm sure that Judge Cannone was picking up what you were putting down because she likes it. She likes a little bit of a man who will say he's wrong even when he's right, okay? And that is what he does. Mr. Yannetti is charming. He's kind, but do not mistake that for weakness. And the Commonwealth continues to do so. You continue to push and push this defense team with egregious harm to their reputation and careers. You continue to push a narrative that is false, provably false. And you believe there will be no ramifications for your actions. Well, I would like to believe that you are in for a rude fucking awakening. And it's coming in hot.
It's troubling that he would make this damaging accusation without properly vetting it to see if it is true before he attacks opposing counsel. So that was disappointing to me, and I would just point out, and again, I only need 30 seconds, that.
You can take your time, Mr. Yannetti. You're not going to be
Well, we're all.
45 minutes.
Right, I certainly will not be. This new false allegation comes after my colleague, Mr. Alessi, co-counsel, Mr. Alessi, on February 25th, detailed 9 or 10 false statements that Mr. Brennan has made to this court.
Yes.
And I want to make it clear, I don't need an apology from Mr. Brennan. I don't expect one. But I think perhaps he should apologize to the court. He said today, a lie unchecked becomes the truth. And I just would hope, Your Honor, that you hold Mr. Brennan to the same standard that you hold the defense team. And that's it.
I certainly do.
Well, you certainly don't, Beverly. Okay. I like it. I like what you tried to do there. I like that you give a little bit, at least to Mr. Yannetti, who definitely is the softer touch, the most just genuine, incredible human who is asking for Hank Brennan to apologize to you for making you look stupid. And what do? How do you thank David Yannetti for looking out of for the respect and the sanctity of Norfolk Superior Court? You say, absolutely, Mr. Yannetti. Of course I treat you all equally. And then we get bitch slapped with your decisions. We've had about enough, Judge Cannone. We're going to have to be, I don't know, like bringing back canceling. Let's cancel Cannone. All right? You've had enough seasons. We're done with the shits.
So, Mr. Brennan, if you do not have a site, then I need you to let us all know that as well.
I will. It's convenient to retort that there were 10 lies by the court that Mr. Alesi lined up. In fact, I looked at the transcripts. Some of his suggestions that I didn't read the paperwork properly, which is wrong. I didn't try to shame him today. It's part of advocacy, and I accept that. There was.
He tried to shame me that I might have read paperwork wrong. Hank, I'm sorry. I don't ever mean to shame you. But I say that you haven't even watched the trial, never mind read the transcripts, like your cockamamie bullshit that you said 2 weeks ago when you provided material misrepresentation to the court that resulted in the immediate suspension of the hearing and a grave warning to defense counsel. You are either a shitty liar or a shitty lawyer or a shitty human being. You pick.
A conversation, and if you remember when I related to Yanetti's remarks, it wasn't in relation to 3.6, it was in relation to the fact that they were using the federal investigation to create innuendo that could not be responded to. But I will provide.
For your request for the gag order? In support of your argument for the gag order?
In response to how they had used federal materials that were under seal that couldn't be rebutted to make suggestions. It can be related to that point, not 3.6. But I will provide the videos. Mr. Yannetti is right. The exact statement that I used was from a court hearing, but then there were subsequent statements made. So my regrets to Attorney Yannetti, but it wasn't in the fashion of a 3.6 violation. That wasn't the intention. It was to show how they've used these federal materials before the case was closed to their advantage.
All right. So if you have the site, I'll give you until tomorrow afternoon to find the court TV site.
Very well.
If you have it, supply it to all, Mr. Yannetti. So I'm ordering the Commonwealth, if they have that court TV site, to provide it to all of us. And if you don't, provide that as well. Provide that information.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. That's it for today.
All right, support, please.
Oh, and he provided it, babes. We'll go over that right afterwards. And he provided the appearance. It was court TV, and it was a review, like they always do, airing the hearing that occurred. And I mean, damn, he's just swiping and swiping at anything he can, trying to make something happen here. But what he is doing, babes, is using the televised appearances in front of this court for 3 different times now to wage a PR war against Karen Read. And it is my personal belief that that is the reason he was hired. That is the reason he was chosen. Was not for his beautiful practice skills, was not that he was going to really deliver justice for the O'Keefe family, allegedly, but it was that he could play dirty and that he would play to the camera. And he has done just that. He has continued to show us who he is. And we need to believe him now. Also, Krowski, go home. Oh my gosh. I feel like he must have walked outside. I should ask if he told anyone to go F themselves while he was outside. I love to hear a man in his 80s tell people to go F themselves after they've said, "Good morning, sir." Like, ooh, woohoo. He reminds me of the old money man on Muppets. Remember, he's up in the marquee and he's like, "Marr, I'm a grumpy old man." That's assault. Okay.
You are muted.
You are unmuted. Hello, OnlyFan. We've missed you. Now, what am I doing? I'm going to go here, I believe. There. Okay, now. Where are we? Okay, that's not good. Can you see me? Oh. Hold on, guys. Here we go. She's here. Your browser has lost connection. Oh no. My browser lost connection. Oh. Okay. No. Hold on. I'm just trying to share my my Twitter page, babes. But I can't do that. But I won't do that. Oh, Lord. Okay. Let's do this. Ready? This was a choice. Okay. Now we have the StreamYard. And maybe I could do this. Oh gosh, why is this so difficult? I am so sorry. Okay, I know. You're like, Kim, please. Why is this so hard for you? Why are you abnormal? We don't know. Okay. I think we're here now. We may be. Yes. Okay, she's doing it. We're all together again. We're here. Wind. Earth, wind, fire. Okay. Now, let's go to what we've learned over the last 24 hours because of Judge Cannone. What has she done to us? It's been a lot, guys. It's been a lot. There have been choices that have been made that we will have to live with from here on out. Okay? It is not the best day. Not for us. But we have some silver lining in the garbage. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, first we got the first denial came to us in the form of where is my screen? Can I see this? We're talking about Bruins GMs right now, I guess. Where is my thing? All right. Oh, there's Larry Legend. Is this? I don't know. Why is this doing this? Oh, for you. I wanted to read to us the Betterow letter. because this one's going to hurt, guys. I don't really know. Oh, here it is. Profile. Sorry, she'd get there eventually. Larry Legend, it's been non-consensual butt touches, and I do not like it from Auntie Bev. Oh, how dare you talk to her when she looks like that? Okay, we're here. Okay, now take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. You're going to need it. We're doing ins, we're doing outs. It's all going to work. That is not it. Where is... Now I don't know what I've done with it. Oh, good golly, help us. Okay, that's allowed. We knew that one. I can't find it. Okay. Oh, I can read it. Hold on. I'm going to get my cell phone. Sorry, guys. Bear with me. Is it in here? No. Okay. Love a Romy with cheese. Okay. Got it. Got it. She's getting it together. I apologize, babes. Okay. So it is the decision and order on defendant's supplemental motion for admission to Pro Hoc Vice of Mark A. Betterow. Who? Our attorney Betterow. After review of the pleadings, the defendant's supplemental motion for admission Pro Hoc Vice of attorney Mark A. Betterow, it is denied. 0 out of 10 would not recommend. And at this time, what do we do? 1, 2, 3, bash a bev. Okay. And she says that the affirmation submitted in support of the motion is insufficient on its face. How about you're insufficient on your face? How about that? How's that grab your ass? And it says, in addition, the proposed concurrent representation involves a conflict of interest that is not waivable under the Massachusetts Rules of Professional Responsibility. See Mass Professional 1.7a and b, and also comments 22 and 23. One such conflict is specifically outlined in the motion at paragraphs number 8, where Mr. Betterow, apparently speaking through Mr. Yannetti, promises to restrict his use of certain information gained in the representation of one client for the purposes of his representation of another client. He thus proposes to ignore information known to him through his representation of one client, even where the information may benefit the second client. The court cannot permit such conflicted representation and declines to add to the defense team that currently numbers at least 4 lawyers, 3 by admission of Pro Hoc Vice. Oh. Okay. So I wanted to tell you guys something. I want you to think about this in a way that it may benefit Karen. Okay? I say that because there was a reference also to future conflicts of interest. And I don't want to, perpetuate anything that is likely, hopefully never going to happen. But that wording was brought to me by a Boston defense attorney who I really appreciate and admire. And he said that he believes there is still active things looking into Karen and Turtle Boy. We know it. We knew it. But there was a no true bill, right? Previously, you've already tried this. But the way Judge Cannone worded that, it left this defense attorney to believe that it is ongoing and that there would be things in the future that could potentially arise. And it's worded in a way that sounds like you're preventing there being a problem for Karen if there was ever a co-defendant situation. I'm sorry. Co-defendants. You think that there could be something there? And if Mark Betterow was the attorney for both, there would be attorney-client bounds that wouldn't be able to ethically be uncrossed, right? We have no knowledge of that. I believe firmly that Karen Read has done nothing in collusion with Turtle Boy. There's no evidence of that. There has never been any evidence of that. I don't believe that Turtle Boy, his requests and the way that he has gone about things is not my style, but it does not rise to physical threats or harm or fighting words. It doesn't. But the fact that the Commonwealth is still coming and is still doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on these people and in backing up what has been said and what has been alleged based on hurt feelings, like, fuck that. I'm going to take everyone to court. How about I take all the trolls to court? You've hurt my feelings. Okay? You hurt my feelings. You talk about my kids. You dox me. You put out my job. You report me to the nursing board because I have a different opinion than you. Like, it's unhinged. It's abnormal. And there was nothing of the sort that was done to specific witnesses, in my opinion, at this case. Oh, anything from federal court. Freeloader Woodchuck, I don't know. I don't know that. So I feel as though it was a blow. It was a big blow to the defense team to not get Mr. Betterow, because Mark Betterow is special. He is, he's the people's prince for us. And he provided so much education in law. It was beautiful to have the experiences that we were able to garner from him, right? For him to take his time and to provide his opinion and to teach along the way will never be forgotten. And it will never be something that I will take for granted in my life. It has been truly an experience to get to know him. And I also feel that every single one of the attorneys on Karen's defense team bring their own special flair. Robert Alessi, he is a teacher as well. He has a love for law, and he is ready at all times. He is prepared with his arguments. He is just an encyclopedia. He is a kind man. He is a good man. As is Alan Jackson, as is David Yannetti. And our queen, Liza Little, shows up every day and gives 150%. It is Karen Read's constitutional right, her Sixth Amendment, to choose her counsel. And it doesn't matter, in my opinion, that you think there could be a potential conflict in the future. Who the fuck are you? Unless you know something, Bev. If someone dropped a dime, Bevy, and you know something's going on, then I'd like you to share it with the class. Okay? Thank you. Oh, Lovey. What is happening? Special K, thank you. Wait. I can't find my way. Oh, not that, Dina. Said, I love you with Will. Frickin' frack, rocking it out. So fun. Oh. Oh, not that, Dina. Me and Will are like two unfiltered we're the Golden Girls, okay? We are the Golden Girls. I might be Sophia and he's my daughter Dorothy. Okay? I said it. Let's make us shirts. We're golden squirrels. That's who we are. Okay. Now, that is unbelievable that we had like the best time on Sunday when he showed up literally with his carry-on. I lost my mind. He just walks through the door. I go, who? I said, who? Who? Sir, are you lost? How did you find your ass in Framingham? Who gave you the Addy? Then I thought to myself, am I being tailed? Who knows where I am? This was a secret location for 45 of my best friends from out of town. Did Judge Cannone tell him? I don't know. Then I find out it was Esty. She was bringing us a little surprise. A little surprise in the form of Will. Just gussied up and nowhere to go. Then I had to tell them, hey guys, you don't have to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here. Oh, Britt Happens says, I'm a Dorothy. You're adorable is what you are, Britt. Oh, and Christina is a thug. I love it. I love that. Allegedly, LB, it was such a good surprise. How about I thought I was in my own fucking fever dream, guys? I go, what? I'm like, am I seeing this right? I'm like, oh, clutch your pearls, clutch your butts. What are we doing right now? I see Will. IRL, not in my screen. He's hilarious. Oh, he gave you a piggyback. Stop it, Lovey. Oh, that's it. It's gonna be the Sophia and Dorothy tour 2025. It'll be Will and Nurse Kim take over the East Coast. We could do from Maine to Florida. Oh, Jessica, listen to me. I made those pearls. You know that. I didn't make the actual pearls, but I made them. You know what I'm saying. And I put on my little charms, my little Nurse Kim charms. So what I am going to do is I have another 25 of them. And I will put my charms on them and do that all. And then I will send them to you. So just send me your address. I'll get it to you. Oh, MCAT, you're a Blanche. I love that. I love that. I feel like I was a Blanche when I was young. You know what I'm saying? She was a good time. And then, then she got old. Okay. All right. So listen, now we're going in. We've made it through our emotional trauma together. That was traumatizing. Okay. And we said rude. We said, that sucks. And I don't appreciate anything you just had to say in your little letter of denial. Then we got the weakest. Oh, take your gum out of your mouth, you freshie. We got the weakest apology, correction of the record from Hank Brennan ever known to mankind. Okay. And the fact that Bev said, oh, that's cool. No worries. Don't make it weird. Was weird. I hate it. Let's read this tomfoolery. Affidavit of Special Prosecutor Hank Brennan to correct the record. Okay. 1, my name is Hank Brennan. Oh, you're a big boy now. Oh, you put in big boy words. Oh, you spelled it right. So proud. Sorry. Oh, sorry. That's rude. Okay. Okay. Sorry. I'll say a Hail Mary tonight for it. But I have been appointed special prosecutor assigned lead counsel of the case Commonwealth v Karen Read. Oh, babes. Speaking of this, I didn't talk all the shit about this with you yet. Did you know that they increased the amount of money that they paid Hank from $75K to $225K? Okay. Which you say, well, for someone who hasn't done their homework, for someone who hasn't done their summer reading, for someone who has really gotten in front of the court and made an ass out of himself a couple of times now, back to back to back. 3 strikes, you're out in my book, Hank. But anywho, we find out via public record that Adam Lally made $146,000 in the year of our Lord 2024. And how much did Laura McLaughlin make in 2024? $119,000 annual salary. Mark it on the book, your W-2. Oh. So you're telling me that this wily prick has come in off his high horse and says, I'm going to do the job for $75,000. Then he ends up bringing the paralegal in the pencil skirt. He probably gave her all that dough. You know what I'm saying? And took her out to dinner and a show. Okay. So she comes on the team too, but he's getting paid $225,000, which is over $100,000 more dollars than Laura McLaughlin made for an entire year covering the caseload that she covers. Ouch. That feels sexist. That feels rude. And that's not really worth it, in my opinion. What I have seen from Hank Brennan has not been worth what we've received, right? $225,000 for you to get up and like stumble over your words and have to apologize to the court and fiddle with a dozen fucking pencils on the regular. Hank, you good? You know, I don't know what's happening, but if this is your best work, it's not looking like more than a C- in my opinion. Yes. And there's the thing, Maddie Wags. I said the same. How desperate is the meatball now? The meatball knew that no one else would take the case. But if you're being honest, Laura McLaughlin is the one who runs the team. When they're over in sidebar, Laura McLaughlin is making those calls. She's making the plays. And Hank Brennan is just there along for the ride. And for a man that makes such bitchy faces on his way to the podium, it's very interesting to see how much limited interaction he is provided in sidebar. No one's looking at him for guidance, for answers, for anything. Judge Cannone looks directly at Laura McLaughlin. The defense team, each one is utilized when needed. Just an observation from court. Oh, okay. So the next I just want to keep reading this one too, babes. Hold on. In oral argument, I provided a number of examples of extrajudicial statements that have been made by the defense counsel, as well as examples of court statements made relative to the now closed federal investigation and potential impact such statements have made on a potential jury pool. One of the examples that I cited to support commentary about how the closed federal investigation was a statement made by Attorney Yannetti. I inadvertently and mistakenly characterized one of his statements as an extrajudicial statement. The statement by Mr. Yannetti was not an extrajudicial statement. It was a statement made during a Zoom court hearing in the Read case. The statement was aired as a part in part, posted by Court TV entitled Karen Read's Attorneys Talk Federal Investigation with Court TV. The segment included a story regarding the case. So other attorneys talked about the Karen Read case like they do every night. Thanks so much. Thanks, Captain Obvious. Why don't you go grab another 6 pencils, Hank, okay? Line them up real nice, all right? Maybe that'll make you feel better. Touch a fucking eraser. I don't know. And then it says that at the 4121 segment, the video includes Court TV anchor's story on the case, witness interviews, and included clips, some from court, including a Zoom court hearing. The quote from Attorney Yannetti was from a statement Mr. Yannetti made during a Zoom court appearance in the Read case. I mistakenly stated Attorney Yannetti's statement was an extrajudicial statement. You could have limited this to 4 points, but he just repeated himself 5 times. And he says, my mistake was unintentional and regrettable. Okay. Here's the thing, Hank, is I don't believe you. Okay? I don't believe you for a goddamn second. I don't believe a word that comes out of your mouth. If your lips are moving, I think you're lying. Because that's all you've done. You came in pretending to be the good guy, and now we find out you're as big of a bad guy as the big boss, right? As the King Koopa, if you will. Michael the Meatball Morrissey. You're kind of a slimy little snail. You're a snail, right? You leave a snail trail. I don't know what you do, but you're gross. You're uncomfy, and sometimes I feel compelled to throw salt on you and see if you will shrivel. That's weird, but, things pop into your head sometimes. Okay. So he did that, and I was like, lame. And then we got today a memorandum of decision and order on Commonwealth's motion to impose sanctions pursuant to mass crim oral motion to prohibit prejudicial extrajudicial statements of counsel. Okay. On June 9th, 2022, a Norfolk County grand jury indicted Karen Read on charges of murder in the second degree, manslaughter while operating under the influence of alcohol, and leaving the scene of personal injury and death following the death of her boyfriend, Officer John O'Keefe, on January 29th, 2022. The trial on the matter began in April 2024 and concluded on July 1st, 2024 with a mistrial. The matter is set for retrial in April 1st of 2025. There have been more than 500 filings in this case. 500, guys. And many of which are subject to protective orders. The case has generated significant media attention locally and nationally and internationally. Babe, you forgot internationally. Do we have any Loveys from out of the country right now? Tell us where you are. Tell us where you are from. Where do you hail from, my loves? Okay. So it says that the Commonwealth represented in open court that the federal investigation has concluded without the issuance of any indictments. Before the court are two motions: the Commonwealth's motion to impose sanctions pursuant to Mass Crim and an oral argument from the Commonwealth to the court on March 4th, renewing its prior written motion seeking to prohibit extrajudicial statements that counsel would have substantial likelihood of materially prejudicing these criminal proceedings. For the reasons that follow, the court will deny the Commonwealth's motion for sanctions, but allow the Commonwealth's motion for an order limiting extrajudicial statements of counsel. Okay. So that was a silver lining. That was in our silver linings playbook of the day. We did not get sanctions as was recommended by Hank Brennan, right? He was like, they need to be sanctioned, Bev. And she said, no, Scott. That's what Bev said to him. But she has put a gag on all the attorneys. This isn't just for the Commonwealth. I mean, this isn't just for defense. It's also for the Commonwealth. And she says, I just wanted to say that what was the one that was a good one? Okay. Number 2, few, if any, interests under the Constitution are more fundamental than the right to a fair trial by impartial jurors and an outcome affected by extrajudicial statements would violate that fundamental right. Okay. Thus, restraints on extrajudicial statements by counsel may be warranted in a particular case to protect the integrity and fairness of the judicial system. Lawyers are subject to ethical restrictions on speech to which an ordinary citizen would not be. However, the regulation of attorneys' speech is limited, and it applies only to speech that is substantially likely to have a materially prejudicial effect. Consistent with these principles, a court may issue a gag order which restrains the speech of participants in the proceedings if the order is justified by compelling the state interest to protect against the serious threat of harm and is no greater than necessary to protect the compelling interest. Such an order must be supported by detailed findings of fact that A, identify a compelling interest that the restraint will serve, and B, demonstrate that no reasonable, less restrictive alternative to the order is available. Bitch. Okay. Now, this is when I got pissed. Because it's not true that any any attorney has said anything on court TV or anywhere else that was inappropriate, in my opinion, right? You can beat up on Karen all day for people who say, "Oh, she shouldn't have spoken to this outlet or that outlet." I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. She has a right to talk, and she can talk as much as she would like to. Okay? Her attorneys are talking about their defense of her, that they believe in her innocence. I don't hear them making, claims against the Commonwealth to make them not have an appropriate trial here, not to give them a fair bite at the apple. All they're doing is requesting that Karen have a fair trial and that there's no tricky and underhanded activity occurring. They want to ensure that. And what continues to happen is tricky, underhanded behavior at the hands of the Commonwealth repeatedly. So I just thought that was actually a ball of bullshit. And here it is. She said, allowed is the furthered order that none of the lawyers appearing in this case shall release or authorize the release of information about this proceedings that a reasonable person would expect to be disseminated by any means of public communication if the lawyers knows or reasonably should know that it will have a substantial likelihood of material prejudicing potential of trial jurors and witnesses in the case. None of the lawyers appearing in this case shall release or authorize the release of information that the lawyer knows or reasonably should know is likely to be inadmissible as evidence in a trial that would, if disclosed, create a substantial risk of prejudicing an impartial trial. And none of the lawyers appearing in this case shall release or authorize the release of protected information in this case, including information subject to a protective order or information protected under the rules of criminal procedure. Lawyers appearing in this case shall remain subject to all relevant provisions of the Massachusetts Rules of Professional Conduct, including Rules 3.6 and 8.4. So, Judge Cannone, I'm going to hold you to it. And if you're full of baloney, you're going to wish you weren't, babe. You're going to wish you weren't. Because you saying that all attorneys, this does include the Commonwealth. We know that. But you're going to need to hold their feet to the fire in this with the same energy, Beverly, that you have continued to hold Alan Jackson, David Yannetti, Robert Alessi, and Liza Little too. It is wild to me that we live in the upside down here, guys. A defense team should be given much more broad parameters for what they are able to do. And I feel as though the leash and the slack is only given in this case to the prosecution. So disappointing it may be. It sure does feel that way. But we rally. Okay? If you need to go puke, go do it. Puke and rally. Okay? We figure it out and we move the fuck forward. Because unfortunately, we've got Karen Reads to free still. And after the events of this week, which again feel like they have been as long as 7 dog years, okay? It's like, how was that just 2 days ago? I black out when I think how much has happened this week. And right now, babes, we are in for a sprint. The next few weeks will have your head spinning. Prepare. We're going to be all right. We're going to get through it. And at the end, we will know it is going to free Karen Read. And everything that you have done, whether it be taking your time to watch a little whacked woman, okay? A little nurse, your friendly nurse on the internet, watching any of the trial coverage, watching, even Court TV, the ID is coming up with their new segment, or they have a 3-part series actually coming out. That's coming out. Supporting Karen via the defense fund. That's the priority now. Because it is all cylinders. All of us need to get in. Keep your hands and your feet inside the vehicle at all times. This is about to be a bumpy ride. But I feel it convicted in my heart, babes, that the end result here is going to be that Karen Read is exonerated. She will be free because it is just, because it is right. And we have the faith in this. We continue to put our faith in good. We continue to not be distracted by the noise and the evil and the darkness that is all around. Babe, it's dark, okay? The nights are long and full of terror, or the night is dark and full of terror. Right? We're in freaking Game of Thrones. And Daenerys Targaryen, first of her name, will bring a dragon and burn the bad mamma jammas of Norfolk Superior Court, of Norfolk DA's office, of Mass State Police, of Canton Police down. What is done in the dark will always come to light. And with that, we know that together we are strongest. Together we can help Karen. We do help Karen. Your energy, your prayers, everything helps. And she loves all of us for it. Oh, Tara says, I refuse to watch court TV. I hear ya. All right, babes, I'm going to go through this very quickly and just say hello to Maddie Wags. Thank you so much, Lovey, for the $4.99. She says, Ronnie the juror said in his interview with TB weeks ago that Fanning collected their notebooks every day. Did he? Maddie Wags, I thought that he said he didn't know who Fanning was. But if he said that, that's wild. And I believe Ronnie. Ronnie and his freaking bow ties. I'm so proud of him for coming out and speaking also to additional news outlets. Have you seen Ronnie, guys? He's been out making the rounds in those bow ties, babes. And he's saying that Karen was a 12-0 vote for not guilty on charges 1 and 3. And he's providing it to as many people who will listen. He is an angel face for that, and we appreciate him. Oh, and we wanted to make sure, Piney, how you doing, babe? You coming too? How you feeling? How's your heart rate? And then we have, okay, this is Money Vicione. Hey, Money Vicione. Is it at all possible that freezing temps and literally being on top of the snow and ice could have prevented bruising? She is not guilty, but I'm dying to know. Babe, that's an incredible question. It would have slowed down the inflammatory response in your body. Absolutely. And that was the blessing and the curse of that night. 18 to 22 degrees, right? They were having Officer John O'Keefe in his final resting spot, being covered in snow. We know that Kerry Roberts described his injuries to his orbitals, to his eyes, as worsening upon him being at Good Samaritan Hospital than how he looked when he was in the snow and found. It was a scene that she did not want to see, right? That she said somehow he looked worse after he had been pronounced. And yes, there was a slowing of the process, but eventually, even post-mortem, you would have seen what occurred. Okay, if that makes sense. Additionally, with the slowing down of all systems that happens in the freezing ice and cold, right? If his injuries were not fatal, if that final blow, what I call, right, the blow to the back of Officer John O'Keefe's skull and cranium and those fractures and the herniation of his brainstem, if that didn't occur, potentially, well, not potentially, he would have lived, right? So he was struck in the allegedly by a car in the arm, and then he the Commonwealth wants us to believe he struck his head on grass that was, quote, hard as a rock. Thank you, meteorologist, because it's raining man. Woo, right? He didn't hit a rock, but the grass was as hard as a rock. Okay. All right. This is what they tried to sell us. But it didn't work that way. And he would have absolutely lived had the blow to the back of the head not occurred. And Meatball Morrissey Sketty Stain says, PP, gonna need you to sit a few plays out for that one. Oh. PP, Polly Pocket. And Chrissy May says, thank you so much. Nurse Kim, you are a gem. No, you are a gem. I appreciate you, Lovey. Thank you for hanging out with me. And Love Romy with Cheese says, the CW plays dirty and Karen has an uphill battle ahead. I encourage everyone to contribute to her defense fund. Any amount helps. We refuse to let her fight alone. Babes, I love you. If anyone comes in afterwards in replay crew, I'm going to put the defense fund in my description. This is pedal to the metal. This is all hands on deck, like I said. It's all of us. It takes a village, and it has taken a village. And we've done it thus far. But we will not quit. We will not stop in our pursuit of truth and justice for Karen, for Officer John O'Keefe, and for their families. Corruption is coming to an end in Norfolk County. Hella high water. We're all in, okay? We're putting all our chips on red, babes, and we're not giving up. I love that. I love that, Romy. You're the best. And Megan Easton has been a consensual member of the Nurse Kim channel for 3 months. And what fun it's been. Y'all are loved. Oh, you are loved too, Megan. I appreciate you. And Sandra M., thank you so much. Levy says, defense, get Colleen and Fanning on the stand. Subpoena now. From your lips to God's ears, Sandra. And Kathy O'Grady said, hey, Kathy, babe, how's your ribs? How you doing? She says, thinks it's time for an Auntie Bev life-size cutout. I said what I said. Well, listen to me. If we need to, on your mark, get set, bash a Bev now and again, hey, who are we to judge? We've got to do what we've got to do. Let out a little steam. Punch a Proctor, bash a Bev, spank a Hank, Yep, we are doing that. And then we have Sandra Mayhew says, Mr. Betterow is amazing, just like you, Nurse Kim. Oh my gosh, I am so happy for Mr. Betterow, for what he has done, for everything that he has provided for all of us for as long as he has, guys. We are so blessed. We are so lucky. I love each and every one of you. It literally brings me such a sense of community, of keeping it going. Like sometimes when you feel like, what are we doing this for? I just get like my ass handed to me and people are very mean, but I know what I believe. And any troll that wants to tell me I don't believe Karen Read is innocent, put me in a lie detector, okay? Everyone says that Jennifer McCabe did one. Put me on one. Okay? I know what I know because of my life experience, my professional experience. And 10 out of 10 medical professionals, well, let's say 9.9 because there has to be one. 9 out of 10 are going to say to you that the injuries that we see that were sustained by Officer John O'Keefe, tragically, fatally, on January 29th, 2022, were not just inconsistent with a pedestrian strike, but it's inconceivable. Facts matter, journalism, okay? Science. I'm not trying to pull a fast one here, babes. A plus B equals C. A plus B does not equal Z. You know? I can't, Dina, that was so kind. Thank you again so very much. I really appreciate you. And Joanne Pinella, thank you for a super sticker, Lovey. And Orphan Methodology became a YouTube member. Orphan Methodology. What a name. I'm obsessed. And we have KLM says, no, Ronnie didn't say that. He said he didn't know who Fanning was. It makes us look bad with wrong info. Okay, well, you know, I hear you. I thought he didn't say that either, but Maddie Wags, I know she has very good intentions, and I thought he was asked about it too. But you know, hey, babe, we try to be as accurate as we can be at all times. And Shipow said, "Oh, you just became a member. Thank you so much, Lovey." And Mama She 13 says, "Can someone please share the membership link for iPhone?" Babe, hi. I fight my desktop every day. I have no idea where any of it lives, but I thank you for being here with me tonight. And what else will we do until the 18th? I don't know. Laugh. Try to take a moment. Do some hot yoga. Maybe write a book. I don't know. Read a book. Write a book. Do whatever you want, babes, okay? But I want you to take a moment for you. Self-care. Get yourself some Rise Mushroom Coffee. Non-sponsored by Nurse Kim, okay? This has Dave Cullinane in peak physical performance, all right? Rise with a Y. And when you need a little laughter, I recommend you watch this show and live your best life. Ready?
Suspicious, don't be suspicious.
John Ralphio?
All right, babes. I love everything about you. I thank you for being here with me today, and we will be back at it. I'm going to go over something special over the weekend. I have planned. I will do one live. If you're up for it, I'll let you know when it's coming. And other than that, be good to each other. Take care of each other and yourselves. And I love your faces. I'll see you soon. Bye, babes.